On behalf of the Right Honorable Speaker, Femi Bajabia-Miller, I welcome you all to this hearing for the purpose of gathering facts surrounding the banning of the Twitter operation in Nigeria by the federal government. We should recall that the federal government of Nigeria on Friday, 4th June 2021, banned the network operation of the Twitter in Nigeria for the reasons still not clear to Nigerians that warrant why we are here today. However, Mr. Speaker, through his remark on the same matter on Tuesday, June 8, 2021, mandated the Joint Committee to immediately commence investigation into the matter with a view to determine the circumstances of the decision of the federal government of Nigeria to ban the operation of the Twitter in Nigeria and the legal authority for the ban of the operation of the Twitter in Nigeria, as well as objective, duration, and intent of the suspension of the outfit in Nigeria. Flowing from the above, the Honorable Minister of Information and other relevant stakeholders on the matter are invited to the investigative hearing to brief Nigerians through this gathering. Hence, the essence of this hearing is to make Nigeria acquainted with reasons for government actions and the subject matter. Therefore, it is very important to hold the stakeholders gathered in this hall to ensure that their presentations are guided by the spirit of geared towards Nigerians' unity, interest, sincerity of purpose, and resolve to have a better and crisis-free Nigeria through our collective effort has been propagated by the 9th House of Representatives.
Definitely. The operation of Twitter in Nigeria. And the reason we gave was that this suspension is because Twitter had made its platform the platform of choice for people promoting activities to destabilize Nigeria. That despite persistent calls on Twitter, they refused and made their platform available for separatist groups and people calling for the dismemberment of Nigeria. We also note in the same press release, we also said henceforth, all OTT, that's over the top, and other social media platforms, must register first as Nigerian companies and be licensed by the Broadcasting Commission before they can carry on any business as social media platforms. This was informed by the fact that we realized that in many of the OTT social media platforms, operating in Nigeria today are not registered in Nigeria. They make billions of naira out of our country. They pay no taxes. They employ nobody. So that is why we said that we are going to suspend one Twitter, and at the same time that all other social media platforms that are not registered in Nigeria must register. I know it's true, sir, that many Nigerians have accused the federal government of an attempt to stifle the media and free speech, and we say not at all. There is absolutely no intention on the part of government to stifle free speech or the media, because as you will see, while it is true that Section 39, of the Constitution, Sections 37, 38, 39, 40, and 41 of this Constitution actually provides for freedom of speech, but it's actually qualified. But it's actually qualified by Section 45 of the same Constitution, which is to the effect that nothing in sections 37, 38, 39, 40, and 41 of the Constitution shall invalidate any law that is reasonably justifiable in a democratic society. A, in the interest of defense, public safety, public order, public morality, public health, or the purpose of protecting the rights and freedom of other people. And honorable members, like I said, the only reason why we suspended the operation of Twitter is because it was promoting disunity in Nigeria and it became a national security risk. Honorable members, as you can see, the above provisions of Section 45 of the Constitution leaves no one in doubt that the provisions of Section 39 of the Constitution on freedom of expression is not absolute. The right to free expression within the contemplation of Section 39 makes it a qualified right in light of the aforementioned Section 45, which permits restrictions of civil liberties in the public interest. And of further, honorable members, if you look at the circumstances of Section 3 of the National Security Act, which clothes the state security services with the powers to preserve the internal security of Nigerians, is very instructive that anybody, any platform that threatens the internal security of Nigeria would not be allowed to operate. Honorable members, for clarity, I'll just go straight to Section 3 of the National Security Act, which says that the State Security Service shall be charged with responsibility for A, the prevention and detection within Nigeria of any crime against the internal security of Nigeria, B, the protection and preservation of all non-military classified matters concerning the internal security of Nigeria, and C, such other responsibilities affecting internal security within Nigeria as the National Assembly or the President, as the case may be, may deem necessary. And this is a case where the federal government deems necessary that the activities of Twitter in Nigeria in particular is inimical to the growth, to stability of the country. Honorable members, may I just remind you that during the unfortunate NSAS protest, the same Twitter played a very unsavory role by making...
On what the Honorable Minister has said. That is also the stand of Nigerian Communication Commission. Thank you.
The major complaint of Nigerians is the fact that the world has turned to a global village and that several Nigerians conduct their business using Twitter. Looking at the economic situation of Nigeria too, we are not doing too finely like advanced country. We wish to move more. What will you say? What is going to be your view? Because this business has been affected. What is going to be your response? And again, I know in doing business or activities, partners or friends in business may have issues, countries may have issues with other countries. The last thing is that everybody will have to sit on a round table to discuss it. From the information available, Twitter is already making overture to the federal government. What are you doing about it, considering the effect it's already having on some businesses? And lastly, I'm not an information person, I'm only a lawyer. I will want to give this advice. In all honesty, if the first briefing of the Honorable Minister has been so detailed like this, I doubt if we will have 5% of the kind of noise we had.
I want to thank the Honorable Minister for the very explicit way he has explained the ban on Twitter to us. But the pressure that people have, especially my constituency, who send me here because I speak their mind, is that Twitter that the problem we have with Twitter is that the Twitter took down a statement that was made by the president, just like how they took down a statement that was made by Donald Trump of America. Twitter is in America, Donald Trump was still in office. They did take them down. But in Nigeria, as soon as they took them down, rather than go into discussion with Twitter to find out why, we decided to ban them. I want to associate with my colleague that says a lot of Nigerians feed their family through usage of Twitter. We are aware that there is serious unemployment in the country right now. And Twitter is a major handle with which people can sell their things. On behalf of my constituent who sent me here, I want to appeal to the Honorable Minister that we should go into a negotiation with Twitter to see how this issue can be amicably resolved so that businesses of Nigeria are not affected negatively.
Honorable Minister, my question is very straightforward. You did mention in the presentation that a proscribed organization like the IPOB was using Twitter to send their messages out, and that was inimical to our security in this country. And if I can recall, that court order was given some months or years back, and Twitter was still on. Why is it that it was because they pulled down the comment of Mr. President that you now came up with this armor?
President Ikwezasa Federal Constituency. My Honorable Minister and the NCC and other agencies that are here, we know too well that all this social media exists in the country. What effort have you put in place in regulating those agencies in order to enable the unemployed youth in Nigeria to gain jobs through those agencies? Because if certain things are put in place, you would have a checkmate on all these social medias than when these things get out of hand. 2, what is the NBC doing in the law, empower them and the NCC to checkmate all these agencies? If those laws are being implemented before they will exist, they would have known what to do. For example, in China, before you get into China, your phone, even social media, is being regulated. And such a thing is not in Nigeria. And we have all those agencies that are capable to regulate it. What effort do you put in place? Because if those efforts are in place, all these things we are saying wouldn't have happened. Thank you.
Now, we have all talked about all the disadvantages. I don't know if we, sitting down here, agree that there are some advantages to this social media issue. Then it is good that we regulate them. But I'm only seeing if it could be regulated in this manner. Let's give them, say, okay, within 2 months, since we know it's advantageous for some people, in 2 months' time, if they are not registered, like you said, you want them to be registered. In 2 months' time, if you are not registered, we devalue you, we subscribe and prescribe you. So that will give room for others that are using it for their good side to keep using until, if the person involved, the owners of these medium says that they have advantage or it's good for them, they will come over and do the needful of what federal government needs. Not that just attractively banning them and not taking into consideration others are using it for their benefits in the country. As we submit.
We have to wait for Mr. President's tweet to be taken down before the nation came to the realization that certain things have been going wrong, perhaps in the social media space. Or did we have to wait for the tweet to be taken down for us to rediscover these laws and all of these sections that we have clearly put out today from your address, Honorable Minister? Honorable Minister, there were 3 or 4 issues Mr. Chairman raised from the Speaker's speech, which you needed to answer to, but I'm sure you attempted to. He talked of the issues of the objective. He talked of the issue of duration. You talked of objective, but you avoided duration. You talked of intention. Yes, you browsed on intention, but you avoided benefits of this action to Nigerians. So, Mr. Minister, sir, my constituents are as unhappy as others in this country, and they have asked me to plead on their behalf with the federal government through you, to look at these issues and in reasonable time so that we can resolve it and look at options that could make people function effectively. Honorable Minister, we have to consider the economic dethronement of the mass of Nigerian youths who live and survive trading on Twitter, doing so many other things. Honorable Minister, I remember you were a very good user of Twitter when you were the spokesman of the party. And so many others have been on it. Nigeria has been a benefit of Twitter. The president has been, all of us have been. I'm not saying we should promote wrong things. This should be taken, I'm not saying we should promote wrong things, but we should also look at the circumstances surrounding them, particularly in the interest of our people.
You agree with me, sir, Honorable Minister, that timing is very critical in every decision you make. I am of the strong view that every other thing pales into its significance when national interest and security is at stake. I agree. You have done a very beautiful rendition of the legal framework that seems to support the steps you have taken, beautiful as it is. I just wonder if in the consideration of that ban, you took into cognizance the coincidence of Mr. President's tweet and Twitter's action and the impression it created on the minds of millions of Nigerians and indeed the entire world. I say this because sometimes there is what you call claim of right made in bad faith. You may well have a legal platform upon which to anchor that action, but the circumstances was, with all due respect, suspect. And that is why you have everybody alluding to the the Trump's, the action taken against Trump. If you had been proactive, with all due respect, you wouldn't allow all these infractions to go on unchecked until the president's tweet was taken down. I think, with all due respect, that was some form of disservice to us because it did put us in peril. We are at the mercy of people who handle social media irresponsibly. And all it took, for you to wake up to that realization was for Twitter to bring down Mr. President's tweet. With all due respect, sir, I don't think that was good enough. Moving forward, sir, I want to beg of you, sir, that I agree. As a lawyer, I know you very well, sir. No right is in absolute terms. But again, we must mind the timing of it so that proactive actions are taken to nip these things in the bud before it becomes, because what you have done, whether you like it or not, sir, looks like some symptoms of emerging totalitarianism. And that is why everybody is shouting, blue murder. I wish that we would be more proactive so that we'll take less bashing, because Nigeria can not operate in isolation of the global community.
I've spoken the minds of their constituencies. If I was speak with the mind of my constituency, I would include the president himself inside. Yes, because out of 360 of us, I'm the only one voted by the president. Look, Nigeria first. Let's be honest to ourselves, and let's call a spade a spade. The media is at war. We can see what's happening on social media. I've worked in NCC, this is my former boss, for 10 years. I know what his department, the cybercrime, are doing. We should please regulate the media. If that tweet was not brought down, the deadly things that will happen in Nigeria will be less than what we are seeing now. Because if the minister did not ban the tweet by the instruction of the president, the kind of insult to the sovereignty of Nigeria we have from the users of tweet will be more dangerous than what we are facing now. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Nigeria first. Nigeria first. Sometimes when I'm reading tweets, I'm disappointed with the youths. We are the future of Nigeria. Look, I went to a unity school, Federal Government College Kwali. When people from Southeast are coming, we line up shouting. They are coming with their buses. But that thing is missing. Why? Why are we bringing issues, trying to cause confusion where there is no confusion? It's just interest. For God's sake, what's social media? Are we eating social media? Let's go back to the resources and harvest it, my brothers. And let's keep this thing aside and face the real problem we are facing in Nigeria.
If the executive believe that Twitter operation create national security threats to Nigeria, have you had a dialogue with this organization? Because when you were talking, you said that that this Twitter created the national security threat, and but then have you had a conversation with them? Is the National Assembly also aware of it? And Nigerians also, are they aware of it? My colleague said Nigerian first. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that we should take abrupt decision, harsh decision, in the name of the president tweet was deleted. That will lead me to the next question. Investors, if we continue like this, making some kind of abrupt decision, don't you think that foreign investors, the economic standpoint of this, will prefer Ghana to Nigeria? Well, we have our right to do whatever we want to do, but then, what about the economic situation of Nigeria? Many people are making money out of this. If we think that we should continue this way, then investors will probably prefer a country like Ghana.
Mr. Minister, sir, Twitter isn't the only social media Nigerian exploit for business and expression purposes. Even federal government agencies use these numerous social media. My question is, why ban Twitter when all that was said against Twitter use every social media affects the nation? Why ban Twitter when all that was said against Twitter use affects every other social media? I so submit.
Renowned lawyer Awomolo Esan said about Section 45, where he says denegation as a concept does not exist in vacuum. It is designed to be a temporary measure, and it comes with political and legal costs, which are also domestic and international. So with that in mind, we know that there will be ramifications, and then we should also provide solutions. So my question to the Honorable Minister is that Nigerians, being the second largest users of this platform, Twitter, has there been anything that has been created to help us to harness this vacuum that has been created, where we have our own platform to disseminate our own information, create jobs for our people? And all these other platforms, we have a huge market around the world. Facebook, Instagram, they are taking advantage of this economy, and I think it is time that we use this as an advantage to, number one, create these platforms, and it gives us a means to also create algorithms to monitor and see trends and be able to counter a lot of the things that have been coming up and disturbing the country. Thank you very much.
Now, if these conditions are met, will the reversal be turned? Also, are these the only conditions that need to be met for it to be reversed, or are there other conditions, for instance, local content? And if local content is coming in, how is it going to come in? Thank you.
Sir, emphatically, with empathy, I sympathize with you, the Honorable Minister, that as a guinea pig, you are taking the batch and bashing of some negligences of our laws. You have brilliantly cited so many authorities And each authority has its own consequences. Unfortunately, the operators of these laws, somebody has heard somewhere, and till today, you have not been able to tell us, even at this meeting, the Honorable Minister, why we have had all these laws in place, operational, and the custodians, the regulators, who have come here to tell us that they have supported wholeheartedly 100% your presentation. What have we been overlooking? I want to ask you, sir, why have we been overlooking all these infractions before now? Because, just as a rider to what my honorable colleagues have said, if we had been implementing these laws, nobody will now come out today and then be talking about Twitter. It will have been general. Then secondly, sir, I want to key in totally that we need to regulate the social media. There is nowhere in the world that everyone leaves the space freely for any how-comers to come and operate. That does not mean you are gagging the media or the press. If we have all these laws and they have not been modified or changed till today, let whoever want to change it come to the National Assembly. Let's have amendment to them. But if they are still operational and they are laws of this country, the Honorable Minister, sir, I want us to admit that we have failed in making good use of them. Then lastly, sir, why was Twitter singled out of several media platforms that we have in the country?
I want to make two clarifications. The first is that we did not ban Twitter. We simply suspended indefinitely the activities of Twitter. The second, sir, is that we did not suspend the activities of Twitter because they deleted Mr. President's tweet. Not at all. We are very unambiguous on why we suspended Twitter. I will now go to answer the questions, and then, of course, I would the one that bothers Mr. Chairman on the duration. I will also answer that, inshallah. Yes, the first question is, what have we taken into consideration Nigerians doing business on Twitter? And the answer is yes. It's because there's a country called Nigeria that people can do business on any platform. And this is very, very fundamental. Two, there are other platforms, Facebook, Google Hangout, WhatsApp, for people to use. But in a matter of national security, individual interests will lag behind. We've been asked, was it banned?
What is the federal government doing?
Yes, what is the federal government doing? Well, incidentally, like I said, the Twitter, the suspension is indefinite, it's not banned, and we said the doors are not closed. We are willing to speak to Twitter. Twitter has written a letter seeking for government dialogue, and just today I did issue a statement in which I announced the government team that is ready to meet Twitter, chaired by my humble self with the Minister of Justice, Minister of Communication, Minister of Works and Housing, the Minister of Labor, State Labor, and I think, yes, and some agencies of government. When I leave here, I intend to see whether we can have a preliminary meeting of that committee. So we hope that the committee will be able to move fast, and that the committee will have good dialogue and understanding with the Twitter. But like we said, there are two basic things that Twitter or any OTT or social media needs to do. They must first be registered as a Nigerian company, after which they will apply for a license. Other conditions will come up as we go along. Thank you. I'm asked, look, I've answered that question that the Twitter, we did not suspend Twitter because of Mr. President's, because they deleted Mr. President's tweet. So that's that. Why did I wait for Mr. President's tweet to be deleted before the suspension? Even though I knew all along that IPOB had been using Twitter as a platform. I think our efforts to rid Nigeria of fake news, disinformation, started in 2017. And I'm happy that my chairman is here. When we organized a National Council on Information in Jos Plateau State to address the issue of fake news and disinformation. And there we said that the next war will be caused by fake news. How prophetic we were. In 2018, we started an advocacy program whereby we went from media house to the other, seeking their support in weeding out fake news. Some supported us, some did not. When we were convinced that they were not going to listen, said that we were going to regulate the social media. We wrote to NUJ, we wrote to Guild of Editors, they snubbed us. Now, as for Twitter, there are two issues about Twitter. Number one, Twitter is not even registered in Nigeria. So who do we talk to? But despite that, I know that on record, that the social media department of the government actually severally asked Twitter to bring down a lot of tweets, which they refused. They said it does not offend their rules. And you see, one thing must be clear. Who is Twitter? Are they a platform, content creator, or are they the judge? We're talking about a sovereign country, and that will not be ruled by the laws of a multinational, no matter how powerful it is. So, for us, why did we act now? There's no time we would have taken a decision that will not have the kind of reaction we're having now. No time. But it has got to a stage after persistent, appeal to Twitter. And we saw how policemen were being killed, how soldiers were being targeted, how Christians were, and they were using Twitter. That's so it says that we say enough is enough. Honestly, like I say, we owe no responsibility to Twitter. It's not registered in Nigeria, does not employ any Nigerian, it does not pay taxes in Nigeria. If Nigerians do make money through Twitter, unfortunately, Nigeria has to be a country first before they can make that money. And like I said, there are other platforms available to them. But hopefully, if we're able to resolve this matter quickly, they will resume the use of Twitter. There's the question about what is NBC doing? What is NCC, NBC, and NCC to checkmate the platforms? As regulators. I know that both NCC and NBC monitor on a daily basis, not just these platforms, but the entire broadcast, environment. But the thing about social media is that it caught the entire world by storm. As we speak today, UK, EU are all struggling to come by with laws to regulate social media. Australia, Singapore, same. Now, it's because the thing about social media is that when they came, they were neither communication nor information. So they were operating under the radar. And it's only recently that governments all over the world started realizing that, wait a minute, these people are doing business, They're not licensed, neither here or anywhere in the world. And they say, no, this must stop. And you are causing a lot of trouble is too small a word. Look, it was said that Hillary Clinton lost the last election because of social media. It was fake news. The first fake news was that she was suffering from very bad health. Second was that she had ties with the terrorists. And I think the third fake news was that the Pope did not support her, or that the Pope supported Trump. And these were all fake news. So the issue of fake news is not today, and the struggle to regulate social media is not today. We continue, both NBC and both NCC, and that is what the first thing we said today is that all online medias come and register. Let's even know who you are. Then we say these are the rules, these are the do's, these are the don'ts. But like I said, it's not peculiar to Nigeria. Even UK now is trying to regulate its social media. EU is trying to regulate social media. France recently fined Google $267 million for anti-monopoly, antitrust. So it's not unique to Nigeria, but we'll continue to do our best. Why ban Twitter outright without giving them time to put right? Know them. They're not registered with us. They are known to us in law. And like I said, honestly, it's suspension, not ban. But again, like I said, we have several times asked them to remove certain tweets that we found offensive, that we found was not in the interest of Nigeria. Did we have to wait for Mr. President's tweet to be put down before acting on the issue of social media? I said it again. That's not. Listen. Then what is the duration of the ban? I've answered it also. That we hope that from today we're able to engage them. Do you take note? Do you take into cognizance that the impression created that the ban was because of the fact that Twitter took down the president's tweet? I've answered that again. Thank you, sir. If executive seems Twitter as security threat, any dialogue with them? Yes, we've tried to dialogue with them, but they rebuffed us. Foreign investors' reaction. Honestly, like I said, about foreign investor, every country in the world is facing what we are facing in terms of fake news, in terms of even the U.S. There are 4 bills before U.S. Congress today, trying to say what do we do with the social media. So it's not just alone. And as for investment, Twitter is a very bad example. They have not invested 1 penny in Nigeria. Rather they went to Ghana, and yet the target market is Nigeria. Say Twitter is not the only social media platform. Why ban Twitter? Yes, I think yes. But honestly, we suspended Twitter because Twitter became a platform of choice for those that want to bring down this country. If any other platform does it, we would suspend the operations too. Because it is because there's a country called Nigeria that they can have business. Any way to set up a Nigerian... Thank you very much. Honestly, I think this is a good opportunity for our very resourceful Nigerians to also look at how they can, have an app that can replace Twitter, and it will be patronized by all of us. We've received a few approaches. I want to encourage them. There's this question: licensing.
Okay, what are you doing to ensure local content if you eventually you bring them back?
Yes, are we going to ensure local content if we bring back? I think, like we said, we have these two very important, non-negotiable conditions. First, register with CAC. Two, you'll be licensed. The issue of local content whatsoever, we look into if appropriate. But already, you can see that from our broadcasting code, we are very heavy on local content already.
Why have regulators overlooked the infractions of the social media over time? NBC, NCC, we just allow them to do that.
Yeah, like we said, why has NBC, NCC overlooked it? It's because they were never registered. And like I said, this infraction is not unique to Nigeria. It's everywhere in the world. When I read, and in Nigeria in particular, about 2 weeks ago, found out that there are about 476 online publications devoted to just bringing down this government. 476 of them. So it's a social media is a menace everywhere in the world, and they are faster than the world because every day new applications are coming up. We just have to struggle to catch up with them, and we believe that the best way to start is by regulating them, is by ensuring that they register with us as Nigerian companies first, and then they take license, and there will be do's and don'ts. And if you do what you are not supposed to do, we fine you. People are using
VPN
to bypass restriction.
What is the federal government doing about that?
Well, my advice to anybody using VPN is to stop it. Because when you use VPN, it exposes your entire data, including your bank accounts. No, I'm serious. So please, if you're using VPN and you think you are hurting Lai Mohammed, you are hurting yourself.
There is one. Okay, that's all. Generally, if there's another one,
Well, I think I've tried to address the issues with.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And I must give kudos to this Committee on Information and also thank the Minister for coming. The only thing I want this committee to look at is posterity, where Alhaji Lai Mohammed, our honorable minister, is coming from. And all the things, like my honorable member said there, they did in opposition. And all the statement he issued, there is nobody that has defended the freedom of the media like Alhaji Lai Mohammed, including regulating the media. I am standing here speaking. He has defended that media should not be regulated all his life. Now that he's in government, I don't think he should.
Thank you. I think you said you have a question to ask.
Yes, my question now is this.
You are ruled out of order, please. So far, so good. We have been harmed. Why the Twitter was suspended? And the reason everything has been given no answer to the questions. So we come back to this. So the journalists, we have done our own. Then we push it back. This is the country, Nigeria, where we all belong to. Now we should do everything humanly possible to sustain this country. Thank you very much. On this note, I want to call on members to move for their journey.
Please don't go